This video is going to talk about the comfort zone and a different way to approach getting things into your comfort zone. Now, most of you probably know what the comfort zone is. It's one of the pillars of self-improvement, and a lot of people talk about expanding your comfort zone, doing things that you find discomforting or uncomfortable. Usually you have a lot of resistance when you're doing these things, but they're things you want to do, want to get better at. Building a body, writing a book, making videos, studying, anything that you currently find difficult and uncomfortable, but that you want to get better at. And if you do these things enough, they eventually move into your comfort zone, where you don't have to expend any mental energy, there's very low resistance, they're quite easy to do. The tasks themselves don't have to be easy tasks, but if they're in your comfort zone, you'll generally find them easier than if they're outside. You've probably also noticed that as you get older, as you kind of get into more of a routine, as you stop trying new things, your comfort zone shrinks. And things that were maybe once in your comfort zone, talking to new people, making new friends, making phone calls, exercising if you've fallen off a little bit, are now very difficult for you and they're outside of your comfort zone. And a lot of the advice that people give when they're talking about expanding your comfort zone is to just go out, do these things, and after doing them for enough time, with enough consistency, enough effort, they'll gradually get easier and easier until eventually they come into your comfort zone and they become something that you can do without even thinking about it. And that is good advice, don't get me wrong. That is something that you can definitely follow and have a lot of success. But for me, there's a better way of thinking about the comfort zone, and that is to focus on the discomfort zone. Now, when I talk about the discomfort zone, what I really mean is learning to embrace discomfort rather than chasing comfort. Doing things we're comfortable with is easy. Things that fall into our comfort zone could be sitting on the sofa watching TV. No one's going to go and say that that's uncomfortable. And if it is uncomfortable for you, I guess you're lucky, maybe? When our focus is to get things that are uncomfortable into the comfort zone, we're being quite outcome dependent. And what I mean by that is, while the goal is to become comfortable with the activity that is currently uncomfortable, which is a great goal, until we achieve that level of comfortability, we haven't achieved anything. And some things that are quite difficult to do can take months, maybe even years to become comfortable with. Let's say you want to start working out, you've never done exercise before, but you want to build your body. Exercising is probably going to be uncomfortable for you for at least 3 months, probably closer to 6, and for some people, again, maybe even a year. As long as exercise remains uncomfortable, then every time you go to work out, you haven't achieved getting it into your comfort zone. And that can be quite demoralizing. That can be something that really subconsciously makes you feel like you're not succeeding, and it can really demotivate you. However, if you learn to embrace the act of doing uncomfortable things and make that your goal, expanding your comfort zone and bringing these uncomfortable things into your comfort zone is a reward, is a byproduct, but it's not the only focus. Again, let's take exercise. When you go to the gym, when you work out, when you go for a run, whatever it might be that you want to do, it's going to be quite uncomfortable. But if you view the act of doing that uncomfortable thing and overcoming it, even if it still remains something that's uncomfortable the next time you do it, you're still going to have a victory. You're still going to have an achievement. You've still won. You've still accomplished something beyond the act of doing whatever it is itself. This can really create momentum. This can really give you those little victories that, again, subconsciously add up and build up towards success. This is only getting more important as we go through our lives, because a lot of things that we find discomforting are actually things that we don't ever really get into our comfort zone. They're kind of things that we do once and we want to get it done and get it over with. If you're studying for an exam, if you're going for an interview, while you can become more comfortable in these things, you're only really doing it until you're finished. And once you're finished, you're not going to carry on the action. You're not going to carry on making it comfortable. You'll probably let that thing drift out of your comfort zone. Maybe you studied so much for your exams at school that it became comfortable, but I guarantee you after 3 years of leaving school and starting a job, studying is not comfortable anymore. It's definitely out of your comfort zone. And then if you go and become an adult in education and you need to study for an exam, suddenly you've lost that ability. Suddenly it's really uncomfortable. Suddenly you're back where you started and you feel like a failure because something that was once comfortable is no longer comfortable for you anymore. I've said comfortable quite a lot in this video. That's a bit uncomfortable. This means that we only really tend to do uncomfortable things when we need to do them. We don't need to study for exams after we've finished our exam. We don't need to get good at interviews after we've got a job. You don't need to work out to get a better body. You might want to, but there's no need for it. We're also creatures of comfort. We're biologically designed to do the things that require the least mental and physical energy, which is why it's so difficult to go and do these things that are uncomfortable. It genuinely, physically and mentally affects you, and so you don't want to do them. You are biologically programmed to seek comfort. All of this means that if focusing on getting things into your comfort zone is your goal, like I've said, you're giving yourself a very binary, outcome-dependent goal. You're only going to achieve this at some arbitrary point in time. Every single moment in between you starting an activity and it becoming comfortable for you, you're not really achieving this goal. You're maybe working towards it, but you're not getting any achievements. And who knows, it may never become comfortable. There are definitely things in life that it could be good to become comfortable with, but you're very rarely or you're not consistently going to be able to practice it. As the author Tim Ferriss writes in the book The 4-Hour Workweek, a person's success in life can usually be measured by the number of uncomfortable conversations he or she is willing to have. But notice how he uses the word uncomfortable conversations. Those conversations never become comfortable. Those conversations never become something that are within your comfort zone. And so if your comfort zone can never really expand to have these uncomfortable conversations, unless you are regularly having difficult conversations with everyone in your life, which is definitely possible. I hope it isn't happening to you, but if it is, then I guess that's something you're comfortable with. But for most of us, we live probably quite a sheltered life. We can have difficult conversations, and they can absolutely happen, but generally it's not something that's going to be consistent. But if your focus is on doing the uncomfortable things, and that's your measure of success, not the actual fact that they become comfortable, but just the act of doing the uncomfortable thing, then you're always going to be having victories. You're always going to be winning. You're always going to be able to do these things because that's your goal. Not making them comfortable, not some arbitrary time in the future where I've got to slog through this thing for 6 months and eventually, hopefully, it becomes comfortable. No, every single time that you do something uncomfortable, that's your focus, that's your aim, that's your goal. Comfortability is a bonus. Comfortability is something that will come in time. But if you set your focus on doing these difficult things, doing these uncomfortable things, going into your discomfort zone, screw the comfort zone, go into your discomfort zone, do these things with pride, even if they remain uncomfortable, you still accomplish something. That's the secret. That's what's going to get you success. And this can be applied to things that are minor in your life. It doesn't have to be these grandiose things like building a better body, getting a better job. Any avenue of self-improvement, down to the smallest feature, can be improved by focusing on doing things that are uncomfortable rather than trying to make them comfortable. The next time you finish your homework, or a piece of work, or an exercise, a workout, and your body starts to tell you, right, now you can relax, now you can wind down, go turn the TV on, go watch Netflix, go play a video game, you've deserved it. You're going to get that resistance in your body because you know you shouldn't be doing that. You know that there's much more you can do. You know you have the ability to do much more with your time. And the idea of that's going to be very uncomfortable. I still have it all the time. After this video, my body's going to tell me, right, turn YouTube on and relax for the next hour. But if I can see past that, if I can carry on doing the uncomfortable thing, if my goal is doing the uncomfortable thing, if that's my mission, if I can maintain that and be aware every single time a discomforting thing comes up that I want to do, and I can overcome that, and I can accept that, and I can challenge myself and view these challenges as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to become better, an opportunity to move my life in a direction that I want it to go, I'm going to have much more success, and there are going to be far more opportunities where I do the uncomfortable thing because that's my goal, rather than hoping that they become comfortable some point down the line and slacking off when after 6 months they're still uncomfortable and I haven't achieved my goal. Now, I know a lot of you are already going to say, isn't this just another way of wording what go out and do things to expand your comfort zone means? And I can understand why you're thinking that, but it's a very subtle but effective shift in perspective, and it really does make a difference. Again, to reiterate, if you've taken on a new habit which is currently uncomfortable and your entire focus is on making that habit become comfortable, making that habit come into your comfort zone, it could take 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, as long as it takes to happen. It might never become comfortable, and so you're never going to reach your goal. Your goal is incredibly outcome dependent. But if your focus, if your goal, if you base your success and your achievements on just doing the action that is uncomfortable, then every single time you do it, you're going to be successful. Every single time you do it, you've had an achievement. You've won. That's your victory. Even if at the end of the day, the month, the year, the action is still uncomfortable, you still know that your goal is just to keep doing the uncomfortable thing, and you're going to keep winning. And this really does build momentum. I can't tell you how much it helps to be able to just throw comfort out the window. Forget about comfort. Don't even worry about things being uncomfortable. If you want to do it and it's uncomfortable, if you want to do it and it's in your discomfort zone, and that's your focus, you're going to do it. Now, chances are there's something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, wanted to start, wanted to do, wanted to get better at, something that sits in your discomfort zone that you really want to progress on, and you just can't do it. Maybe you wanted to become comfortable. Maybe you tried a few times and it still was difficult for you to do, and so you gave up. It's probably that voice in the back of your head that tells you every now and then, hey, you should probably go and do that. Like, what are you doing? Stop playing video games, stop watching Netflix, it's time to go and do that. And you get that sense of resistance. There's something pulling you away from that goal because it's uncomfortable, and it's so much more comfortable to sit on the sofa and eat Doritos and watch Netflix or play video games for 4 hours or go to bed late and not exercise. Don't go to the gym, it's too fucking hard. My challenge to you, when this video ends, feel that resistance. Identify that thing that you know you should be doing and that is uncomfortable for you, that lies in your discomfort zone. Identify that thing, count to 3, and do it anyway. Focus on the discomfort, focus on the resistance, focus on overcoming that. Even if the activity remains uncomfortable for you after you've done it, if your focus is just overcoming the discomfort, you will succeed. Start doing one thing today that you find discomforting, that lies in your discomfort zone, regardless of if it becomes comfortable at the end, and that will add up to a huge achievement. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Dan, and remember, always keep on smiling.